Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are jumping right into a Halloween Slimline card. I know this is cutting it close. Tomorrow is Halloween, but it's been a crazy month. I wasn't able to get this up on Friday, and I figured better late than never. So I'm going in with some mica spray stain from the Distress Tim Holtz line. This is the Jack-o'-lantern shade, and I'm going over it really quickly with my heat gun. They recommend you do like a lower heat for this. So I just kept mine moving. It was either this or the hair dryer, and honestly, I didn't feel like pulling out the hair dryer. So I kind of let it sit for a minute and then dabbed off the excess with a paper towel. Now I'm taking some rock candy glitter, which is like a beautiful clear glitter, also from the Tim Holtz Distress line. And I'm taking 2 drops of this purple alcohol ink. I'll have the colors for everything listed in the description for you guys. And I've seen Tim do this on lives. You just add a couple drops and then go in with a brush or a popsicle stick or something and kind of break it up and mix it in. It does take a minute, but it's such a fun way to make a custom glitter. And in the end, the purple didn't show on this as much as I thought it would, but I wanted to include it because I think it's really fun to show kind of some experimentation and kind of leave in, not that it's really a blooper because I still love how it came out, but just to show you, how things turn out, whether they're quote unquote perfect or not, I guess. So I have this really fun, I think this is from Stampers Anonymous. It's also Tim Holtz product, but this has the half and half pattern. So it's dots on one side and that Harlequin diamond on the other. And I'm going in with some of this matte black texture paste. And I'm applying this kind of splotchy, kind of just all over the place, not worrying about clean edges by any means, or even on even layer, honestly. And I'm gonna kind of just put these all over. I'm gonna flip my paper here in a minute. I feel like sometimes I forget that we can like spin the paper around. And sometimes I try to make things even harder for myself. So keep that in mind that you can, manipulate your surface however you need to. But I just kind of worked my way around this whole panel. And then while my texture paste is still wet, we're going to go in and kind of dump some of that glitter over the whole thing. My goal was to have some of that stick to the texture paste, and it did. You can see here like how intense that purple looks. I thought it was going to stay that way, and spoiler alert, it does not. You definitely get a really pretty purple sheen when it's all done, but it does not stay that dark. I think if I had used, obviously the white texture paste would show the color a little better than the dark. Or if I had maybe like mixed it in a little bit, I don't know. I'll mess around with it. We'll try something similar probably for Christmas with something snowy maybe, and it'll be fine. We'll figure it out and I'll keep you updated. I stamped this beautiful image from Stampingbella. I love this stamp set so much, and I was so upset that I almost didn't get to use it. This is the Tiny Townies Trick-or-Treaters, and it's just so stinking adorable. So I wanted my vampire to have a little bit of pale skin, so I went in with some very different markers for me, and kind of gave him a gray/green kind of cast to his skin. I wanted him to have kind of a Dracula feel, so the rest of his hair and outfit are gonna all be in a black and red color scheme. So I kind of just started with him. I worked my whole way through, and then I went to the witch and then the little monster on the side. If you haven't used Stampingbella stamps before, they are a blue rubber stamp, and they come pre-backed. So when you stamp them in a platform like a Misty, you just want to take out the foam insert out of your Misty before you go to stamp it down, because it already has the foam attached to the back of it. So it'll help you get a nice even stamped image, versus if you forget and leave it in, sometimes one side gets pressed down way too hard and the other side gets barely anything. So you get a very uneven kind of wonky image. But the blue rubber allows you to get so much detail. I'd say similar to a red rubber. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. I know there is a difference, but I'm sure Stampingbella on the website has like more information about their blue rubber and like why they picked that. But I do just love their images. Every release that they put out, I find something that I need. And this was one of the ones for this year. They're just so cute. And I love that you can make them look like kind of actual monsters and creepy, or you can make them just look like little kids out trick-or-treating. You could customize them if you have kids in your life that you would want to send this to. You could customize it to kind of make it look more like them. And I love images like that. So I shaded in his cape all black, and it kind of looks like he's wearing like red pajamas or something with how I colored it, but I like it. So I gave him a red shirt. The inside of his cape collar is red. Red pants, and then I went in with the same kind of neutral grays that I've been using for all of the blacks so far for his boots, and just really easily shaded those. Not easily, but really, I didn't overthink it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just went in and kind of colored. Wasn't super worried about, bringing in a ton of extra colors or worrying about a ton of tiny little details. I think this image has enough detail already pre-drawn for you. We don't have to worry about adding anything extra if you don't want to. I did want his pumpkin bowl to be pretty traditional, so I went in with some orange shades for that. And then I did a combination of green, pink, and yellow for the candy, just to kind of create something that would pop and look different and stand out against all of my characters, because they're going to be, at least Dracula and the witch have so much black in them. I wanted a little hint of bright colors here and there, just to kind of wake them up a little bit. So for the witch, I gave her a black hat and a little black apron. She's also going to get some black on the stripes on her stockings in a minute when I remember those. And we'll pull in some purples and oranges, just again, kind of playing up the Halloween traditional colors. I love a Halloween triadic color scheme, which is that green, purple, and orange. And I'm going to bring in the green on her face. Again, like she has some face paint on or some makeup. I don't know about you guys, but it was always a big deal for me growing up to have cool makeup. When I was getting ready to go trick-or-treating, and my kids now are obsessed with me doing their makeup and helping them kind of turn into their characters. My daughters are very excited to go trick-or-treating tomorrow. We did trunk or treat at their school over the weekend. So they got to kind of like try out their costumes and make sure they were happy. My oldest is going to be kind of like a fallen angel. She looks kind of like a goth with wings, if you ask me, but she said she's a fallen angel. And my youngest is a werewolf, and she's like the cutest stinking werewolf ever. So I'm so happy and excited to hang out with them. My husband and I decided to kind of keep up, I guess it's kind of like a cryptids theme. And so I'm going to be an alien and he's going to be a Sasquatch, which should be pretty hilarious. But I hope that if you are somewhere that celebrates Halloween, or if you and your family celebrate, I hope that everybody has a wonderful day tomorrow. And hopefully some fun memories get made. Even if you don't have kids, even if it's just you hanging out, I hope you have a good night. Maybe watch a little scary movie. If you don't like Halloween and you're over all of it, I'm not sure you would have made it this far into the video. But if that is your situation, I think it's also fair to watch Christmas movies tomorrow night if that's what does it for you. So I shaded in the witch's boots brown to help tie in with the broom and just kind of break up all of that darkness down at the bottom that we have going with the little vampire's boots. And so I wanted to use those same kind of brown shades for her hair too, again, just to kind of pull everything together. And I went in with kind of a softer pale green for her skin, but it definitely it's like a lot bolder of a green versus the vampires is more of just like a pale sickly. She has more of that classic witchy green. The little monster, I gave him a regular Caucasian kind of skin tone combination. And then to change things up, I grabbed my BG70 markers, which I don't know why I was drawn to them for this. It's definitely a non-traditional, like Halloween monster color, but I really love how it turned out. And I just think it's really fun, and it balances out all of those darker colors in that vampire as well, I think. So I just kind of took my time shading in and creating that kind of hair-like texture across his little monster suit, and went in with that BG70 as my lightest shade and really just took my time laying that lighter color over and layering it a few times. It did take out some of my contrast, so I went back in one more time with my deeper BG78, I think, or 79. I'll have it down in the description. And I also gave this one some brown hair as well. Maybe they're like a little family of trick-or-treaters hanging out together. And the last thing on my image was to color in his little candy pail. So I went with a traditional black cauldron and used the same pink, yellow, and green shades from before for his candy, and then added in some white highlights with my gel pen and fussy cut this image out. That is the one thing I can tell you. I'm pretty sure that Stampingbella doesn't do, I know they used to do dyes, but I'm pretty sure they don't anymore. I'm pretty sure. You can double check their website, but I'm fairly certain that you basically have to either make these into a scene card or fussy cut them. I'm fine with that. None of theirs are so crazy that I can't make it work. I think they do that intentionally because they don't do dyes. But it also forces me to save money. So, because if there was a dye, I would probably buy it. Once I had my image all cut out, I went back to my base layer that I was working on and brushed off all of the excess glitter. And this is when you start to see a lot of that purple kind of fading into the background. It looks a lot brighter on camera right here than it did in person. But yeah, you can kind of see when you look at it straight on, because that glitter is clear, it picks up so much of the black behind it. So to pop a little bit extra of that purple feeling onto the card base, I went in with Seedless Preserves in my Distress Oxide, because oxide inks you can layer over other colors and over colored cardstock, and they have enough of kind of their own pigment in there that they will stand up. It definitely is still tinted because of the black cardstock, but it just brings a little extra color. And I liked how that looks so much that I also ended up bringing in some spiced marmalade. That's what it is, not carved pumpkin. The spiced marmalade oxide ink, and kind of filling in any of the areas between where I had placed that purple shade, and just kind of had fun. I let it be a little messy because the whole background is just kind of crazy, but I like that part of Halloween, so it made sense to me. I cut an orange card base, so that is 7 inches by 8.5, and I scored it at 3.5 on the 7-inch side, and made one long panel, or one long card base for my Slimline. Then I took my trimmed down black panel and just used liquid glue to place it right into the center. For my sentiment, the stencil that I had bought actually came from Stampers Anonymous with these sentiment stamps. So I stamped my Trick or Treat sentiment with some coordinating orange ink and just used my paper trimmer to cut that down. And then we're going to pop the sentiment block and the stamped image all up with some foam. I just thought it would help it to stand out and make sure that it laid nice and flat against all of that paste texture that I had applied. And also sometimes I find with glitter, regular liquid glue kind of affects, or the glitter affects how the liquid glue sits. So foam just seemed like my safest bet. So I just took some thin foam and I placed it all across the back, and I already have my sentiment laid down. we'll get my little characters popped up right on top, and that brings this whole card together. So I'm so sorry if this voiceover feels like a little flustered or distracted. This is not my normal routine. I promise you guys that I will get back into my normal routine and get my act together. I miss you guys. I miss posting. I miss having like this consistency. So my goal for November is to get back on track. Look, I almost forgot to even tell you that I went in with these beautiful orange sequins from This Calls for Confetti, just to add a little shine. I did 2 groups of 3 and kind of that diagonal, and there you go. That brings our card together. So I hope that you have a great day. If you're celebrating tomorrow, I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. I will see you back here on Friday night. I'll figure it out if I have to. Friday night, I will see you with something fun. And until then, guys, happy crafting.